Colleen Reynolds, WJBC News.
Colleen, we have to warm it up because we don't want Mary to freeze while she's here. She's packing right now, in fact, aren't you?
Absolutely, and I'm putting my long johns in my bag.
You getting ready to leave on a jet plane?
Leaving on a jet plane, which will be warm, but I think when we set down, it's going to be a little cold there, too.
Yeah. I have to ask you this question, too. Did Puff the Magic Dragon ever inhale?
Puff the Magic Dragon is a children's song. It always was a children's song. It still is a children's song, except now there are an awful lot of adults who have grown up listening and singing it. All living creatures inhale.
Yes. And there's still that misconception. In fact, one of the concerts you did on PBS was about that. And you talked about that. The Puff the Magic Dragon thing totally got misrepresented, didn't it?
Oh, it did. But, in an effort to be with it and au courant, some newspaper article back in the 60s decided that there must be hidden meanings to everything on the air.
So, there is why that all started. Mary Travers, I've enjoyed your music for so long, and I don't want to date you guys, but do you realize when you come to the Assembly Hall this weekend at Champaign-Urbana, you will be marking a 30th anniversary. You were one of the very first acts to ever appear at the Assembly Hall, and you're appearing within just a couple of days of the date.
It's really incredible. It's incredible to me that the three of us have known each other and laughed and giggled and sung together for now 32 years. But who's counting?
In fact, one of the guys I work with, Don Munson, was going to the University of Illinois at the time you appeared. And he thought he had some great tickets. He got tickets in the C section. He thought, man, A, B, C. I'll be right next to the B section, right next to the D section, and I'll be nice and close. Turns out that the C section is like the upper rim of the Assembly Hall. So he wanted me to ask you, 30 years ago when you appeared there, were you the one in the middle?
Sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Yeah. It's a great facility, and people want to get their tickets early because if anybody could fill it, I imagine you guys could fill that place.
Oh, we're looking so forward to it, because at this juncture in our lives, one of the most marvelous aspects of folk music is that it's really for families. And it's great. There are sometimes as many as 4 generations at a concert. And it's wonderful to look down and see families singing together.
Yeah. Russia has fallen away now. We have ended communism, except for maybe what we have in our own country.
And it fell apart under its own inefficiency, but...
Yeah. Are you worried that you guys may run out of material? Didn't you or somebody make the statement in your group that you really depend on political things for folk music? Isn't that what about?
I don't think we're going to run out of issues.
I guess that's right.
Although communism has met its demise, what has reared its head in its place is a kind of fundamentalist nationalism, which seems to be as dangerous to world peace as communism was, and if not, maybe a little bit more, because it's so unpredictable.
It seems like we've always had to have an enemy to point to get things done, and where will we point next?
I don't know. I think the human being is an animal that functions on struggle, and if that's having an enemy, I suppose one could say that. But I think we were meant to struggle, to achieve, to create, and when we're doing those things, we're fulfilling our destiny.
Yeah. Did you guys ever get any flack for some of the songs that you sang, other than Puff the Magic Dragon? Because you were really on the front there, making statements.
Absolutely. Sure we get flack. But I think the majority of the time, the people who care about what Peter, Paul, and Mary are singing about, even if they don't agree with us all the time, I think have honored us with the greatest compliment a performer can receive, I think, under these circumstances, is that they at least dignify our position by saying, we really think, you're not just saying this because you think it's something cute to say, that you really believe this. We may be disagreeing about something, but you have a right to your opinion.
Yeah.
and we know that opinions are part of the folk process.
That's right. You guys first got together in your apartment, as I recall.
Yes.
From the notes.
My little 3-flight walk up.
That's where you first sang together.
Yeah.
And did you have any idea that you'd still be together 30 years ago?
Are you kidding? I didn't know if we'd be together the week after. No, I never thought. I never thought that this was.
32 years later.
No, but then I'm not one of those long-range kind of thinkers. You know, I tend to most of the time to deal with now.
Yeah. How did you guys really get together? One of you was a comedian, as I recall, stand-up comedian.
Well, Paul Stuckey was a stand-up comedian in the Village, and a very good one, I thought.
Peter Yarrow was.
He was working right across the street from where I lived.
And you were a singer on your own before that.
Well, sort of a singer on my own. Not much of a singer on my own. It used to scare me so. I used to get on the stage and do a guest set, sing a few songs, and then go in the ladies' room and think about throwing up.
instead of doing it beforehand, huh?
Yes.
What's it like entertaining? What's the largest crowd you've ever entertained for? Do you know?
Probably about 1.5 million people.
Well, they weren't all there physically, but
all there, live.
Live for 1.5 million?
1.5 million.
Would that have been like in New York someplace?
No, that was in the Philippines.
Wow. Is that more of a...
It was a political event.
Was that more of a high, or what am I trying to say? You know how people... The adrenaline flows when you have an audience.
Oh, yes.
Is that...
Adrenaline does flow. But the adrenaline flows, I think, the most when you can combine your heart and your head and your throat. That's when it's the most exciting.
Do you feel as if some of the facial expressions may be wasted on a group of 1.5 million people?
I don't even think about that.
The people in the back are not going to see
I
card
don't
tricks.
think about that.
Yeah.
You know, I think about whether or not I can get my heart, my head, and my throat to work together.
Yeah. Well, you do. You really do. Mary Travers is on the line. If you have a question you'd like to ask, 829-2345 is the number, or 1-800-322-9377. This is a delight talking to you. I tell you.
Thank you.
I was just a little baby when I first heard you.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Don't you hate that?
Aren't you?
Actually, I wasn't. I guess I was in high school at the time. And you three have done more to shape people musically than almost anybody I can think of, I think.
Well, we certainly have lasted longer.
Yeah. You kind of went your own way, didn't you, for a while? I mean, you haven't been together for 32 years.
Together, we did about 190 concerts a year for the first 10 years. And then I think we all felt a little burnt out. And we separated on friendly terms and got back together 7 years later, but on a much more reasonable schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Now we do 60 concerts a year, and that's doable.
So how many shows? Let's see. This one is appearing where in your current tour? Then is this near the beginning or near the end?
Well, it's in the beginning of this year. You know, starting if we start January.
Okay. So you'll be going through the spring then?
Through the spring and the fall and summer.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about some of the songs. Are you going to do Out in Right Field this time?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know though. That's in Noel's solo section if he wants to do it. But it's hard, you know. We have 2 songs in our solo section, each of us, and we try to keep them fresh and new and change them. And yet sometimes there are some real favorites. I mean, like for instance, Paul's wedding song. I mean, he can't go wrong if he does that.
Right.
But he also wants to be introducing new songs that he's written.
Yeah, that's got to be tough for anybody that's been around that long. Any group that's
It's
been
hard
around.
to choose.
What do you leave in and what do you take out?
Yeah.
You're on the air with Mary Travers. Good morning.
Well, thank you. I just love Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Well, thank you.
We went up to see you last year about this time in Merrillville.
Oh, yes.
It was just a great show. I just really loved it. What I wanted to ask you is about your daughters. You have a couple daughters and a couple granddaughters?
You bet.
Are they in show business or?
No. Well, my granddaughter Wiley is peripherally in show business. She's 7. In the sense that we've just finished a new PBS special, and which will be aired in March, and she's on it.
Yeah.
She thinks she's in show business.
But
my daughters are not at all interested. My younger daughter, who's 26, is a special education teacher for learning disabled kids.
Terrific.
And the older daughter is married with two babies and keeps her busy.
Oh, good. Well, I sure appreciate talking to you.
Well, thank you, and I hope I see you at the concert.
Looking forward to the special, too, coming up.
Great.
Thanks.
If you weren't singing, Mary, what would you rather be doing? If you weren't in show business.
If I wasn't in show business, what would I... Oh, boy. Maybe be a gardener.
Really?
Yeah.
You like working around plants and things?
I love working outdoors. I love being outdoors. I guess my most favorite... Or maybe I wouldn't mind running an antique store.
Okay.
Maybe not running it, but I'd like to buy for it.
Yeah.
Because I do love to prowl around antique stores.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, I could probably have run a bookstore if I
Okay.
could get to read everything that came in.
Yeah. You're on the air with Mary Travers. Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
I really enjoy your music, too,
Thank you.
and I've grown up with it, and we have a lot of your albums and CDs, and we saw you a couple years ago in Peoria.
Oh, wonderful.
And I was wondering, too, since the gentleman before me asked about your family, I was just wondering about Peter and Paul's family, and I just wondered, too, if they enjoy your music, if all of your kids and grandchildren enjoy your music, and...
We're so lucky. We all have wonderful kids, if I do say so myself, spoken like a mother. Paul has 3 girls, 2 just finishing college this year and 1 in graduate school. And Peter has a daughter who's at Yale, and a son who's in college, and both fabulous kids. So they're all grown up. I'm the only one with grandchildren.
Do they all like your music? I mean, sometimes kids, especially today, they kind of like the more modern music, I suppose.
I think it means a little something more to them than just a musical genre. For our kids, this is music that they literally heard practically every day of their young lives. It's sort of, if you put my record on, my daughter could go to sleep in 5 seconds, and she's 33.
Okay.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
It's 11 minutes in front of 11. Do you like all kinds of music? Do you like what's happening in music today?
Well, I like some of it, and some of it I don't, but quite frankly, when I want to relax, I listen to classical music.
While you're surrounded by plants and reading books.
That's me.
Okay.
And preferably, music without words, because I can't read and listen to music with words at the same time. I know children can.
Instrumental stuff is what you like, then?
Yeah.
For relaxing.
And opera once in a while is fabulous.
Yeah. When you are singing and entertaining, though, you're a foreground sound then, and you want the message to get across. That's part of it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's how would you define folk music? There was a period of time when you couldn't understand the words. Sometimes the instrumental music was louder than the singers. Now the singers are so loud. In fact, with rap and things, you don't really hear any music.
Well, rap is a form really of folk music, if we want to get really technical about it. It's just the talking blues sped up a little bit. But what makes a folk song?
Do I hear a siren going on in the background there?
Oh, yes, this is New York. And I live right on the avenue, so there's always something happening outside my window.
Yeah, okay.
But what makes a folk song?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you can use a real strict definition, because the strict definition would be a musical form that came from a homogeneous culture, unaffected by other cultures, and that just doesn't exist anymore in the United States.
Right.
I think the looser definition is a music that is fundamentally one that deals in a literary sense with the human condition.
And it doesn't make any difference if you're backed up with acoustical guitars or electric guitars or an orchestra?
Well, not in the big picture, but I think fundamentally it's is kind of better when it's acoustic.
Yeah.
Because the moment the instrumentation gets louder than the vocal, that sort of separates folk music from a folk derivative kind of music,
Okay.
I would say.
I'm glad I'm recording this because I'll go back and listen to it and try to figure out all that you've said.
Like I said.
Mary, this is great talking to you, and we want to invite people out to see you and Peter and Paul and Allman and Joy and I don't know, whatever. How big a group will you have with you? Will it just be you three?
It's just and our band, which consists of Dick Kinnis playing upright bass, as he has been doing for over 20 years.
Okay. So it's the Peter, Paul, and Mary show with the regular band. This is the kind of thing that you would use if you were doing a PBS special, for instance, right?
This is all there is. What
Okay.
you see is what you get.
Okay.
It's Peter and Paul and myself and Dick Kinnis, our bassist, and somehow, just with the four of us and two guitars and a bass, we seem to manage to do okay.
Well, you make a heck of a sound, and you'll fill the place up, I'm sure, with sound and music and laughter and thoughts, and it'll be just a great evening this coming Saturday night. I have some tickets to give away. I'm going to do that after we say goodbye.
Right.
But thank you very much for being with us.
Much.
The Assembly Hall, Saturday night. It's a 7:30 show, by the way, and Mary Travers will be there.
All right. Bye.
Thank you, Mary.
See you then.
Bye-bye. 7 minutes in front of 11.
If I had a hammer, I'd a hammer in the morning, I'd a hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd a hammer out danger, I'd a hammer out a warning, I'd a hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land.